Welcome to Tabarro do Castelo. We're here in the zone where we do the fruit tree experiments, where we do food production, and we started 2 years ago in December 2022, so exactly 2 years ago, and we seeded fruit trees, or fruit seeds and native seeds, and we made a bunch of mistakes, and we're trying to learn from this, and we want to explain today what new, how we changed some of the changes applications we're doing today. So what we did 2 years ago was a middle row, and here you can see there's, in this case, the only really successful one is almond, and they have come up. They were in the middle. And there's very, very little of the native seed mix we seeded left and right that had come up. And there's a few reasons why we think that happened. And one very important thing to say here is that this is without irrigation, and we're in Portugal, and there's a very, very long and very dry summer. So it's a very, very big challenge to do this, to attempt to do this without irrigation. And without going too much into detail what we think went wrong, we're just going to explain to you what we're trying to improve now. So what we did today is we seeded again, but we haven't sown any fruit seeds now. We are concentrating on improving the soil and getting a ground cover and getting the vegetation established. So we did two different things. We improved the existing lines, and we started some new lines that already we made the design, but now we opened them and we put some seeds in. So, and there's only one difference between the two, so I'm going to explain how we did the old ones and how then the one addition to the new ones. So we seeded a huge bunch of different seed mixes, and the two maybe conglomerate important ones is there's a green manure that's called Structurator from company Fertiprado, which is annual seeds that are inoculated with mycorrhiza that are supposed to really open the compacted soil, which we thought was one big problem. And then we also added a native seed mix that we based on the experience we've had over the last 2 years of which seeds worked and which seeds less. And the key part of this seed mix is very, very tiny seed, pioneer seeds, usually perennial herbs that have some examples here and on other places nearby that have proven to come up, and we hope that that basically the annuals will go forth, and then these perennial natives with this help will be able to also come up and form really a dense layer and stay over summer without water. Because what we think and we believe, what we feel is that once this dense cover, even if it's just small, is established, then the thing can start rolling, kind of. Because right now the last 2 years there was just too little. We had too little seeds and everything, which we improved the quantity now. And so because there wasn't enough density created and not over the whole year, nothing could really start. So maybe just as an idea, that last we seeded over roughly 100 meters. 2 years ago we seeded, I think, 60 to 100,000 seeds, and today we did additionally at least the double. But you can find all the details in documented. So that native seed mix is based on those, like, from successful seeds from observation, and a few others that based on that we chosen more specifically this time from other herbs and some shrubs and some grasses that we hadn't used that are documented to grow in this area from a Portuguese website. And that is the main two important ones. We also added some favas and lupins, we kind of threw them roughly into it. And there was a certain order, which was we applied in 3 lines. We applied first a mix of vermicompost and local soil, 50-50, and then we added all these seed mixes. The fine seed mix we added with sand to help the spreading, and then we covered with a fine layer of wood chip as to allow the fine seeds to come up. And that is the main process. The one different thing that I mentioned in the new lines, in the 3 new lines, was that in the 3 new lines we added the bigger seeds of the structurator mix and the lupin and favas. We added, no lupins and favas. We added with the soil vermicompost mix as to bring it out together, to have it a bit deeper. And in those new lines, because there hadn't been anything previously seeded, we also added a mix of tree seeds, of native tree seeds, which are really big seeds. So we thought mixing them with the soil would give them the more appropriate depth, which is also another thing that 2 years ago we hadn't done. We had seeded everything on the same depth, so we had, I think, in 2 ways a problem that the big seeds were too far up, and the tiny seeds with the mulch had too much cover. So we tried to rectify that, and we also tried to rectify that we hadn't improved the soil very much. So that's why we're using vermicompost now, and additionally, the structurator mix is supposed to really break loose the soil, because the soil here is very compact and anaerobic. It doesn't have much microbial life. Hence, also the vermicompost is gonna help, and also that very mix is also inoculated with mycorrhiza that also bring in the soil life that's maybe lacking and missing. So that's the process we have for now, and we hope to get to get results and of all these different experiments and learn from that, and then adapt the quantities and find out and fine tune this.